Tonight's opening clip comes from Maximalist Minibus, a solo van lifer documenting her life in a converted school bus. Her camera never stopped recording. September 10th, 2025. Woodland Campground, United States.
And my tent is open. And I mean, I know squirrels are always trying to get in there, but squirrels didn't do this. Squirrels can't operate a zipper. I haven't seen any here with opposable thumbs. And I always zip it shut from the top down to the bottom. But see, there's two zippers. And so it's open the other way. One zipper stays at the top after I zip it, and somebody unzipped it from the top down to the bottom. So right now it's like it's open like a flap, right? So it's open, it's zipped at the bottom. And when I first saw it, I thought, well, that's weird. But honestly, I didn't think that much about it because I don't know, maybe I did it that way. I don't think I did. I never have before. But it wasn't until later in the morning that I thought about the critter cam. And
She positions a solar trail camera on a footstool just outside her tent. Come morning, the zipper is hanging wide open, all the way from top to bottom. She pulls the memory card to see what happened. At 2:30 in the morning, a pickup rolls through. A man steps out wearing reflective glasses, a cap, and a trash bag draped over him like a poncho, carrying a jug. He comes back around with a flashlight, scopes out her table, shines the beam through the mesh, and looks inside. The golf cart, the bus.
He's got glasses on that are shining. He's got on a baseball cap. It looks like he might have a goatee. And here he comes. He walks across. See, he's got a trash bag, it looks like. And I thought at first he had a backpack on, but you'll see in a minute it's not a backpack. So he walks by. And then it missed the first part of him, but then he comes back with a flashlight. And he's coming around, like, I have a table over here with a bunch of stuff on it. I think he's, okay, now look, here he comes. Now he's shining the flashlight in through the mesh of the tent, trying to see what's inside the tent. And you can see, like,
He's checking everything. He makes a second pass, notices the camera, and keeps moving anyway. Then he unzips the tent and walks right in, rummaging around while she's asleep just a few feet away.
I don't think this is like a nightly occurrence. I have never seen any sign that anyone has done this before. But the fact is, when I'm in that bus, I don't see or hear anything. I put my curtains up, that's it, you know? But how weird is it that I set up my camera on the exact night that someone's going to come and rifle through my stuff? Ugh, it creeps me out. So I've been looking around trying to figure out what he took, but I can't really find anything. I mean, the most obvious thing would have been this tablet. I mean, I don't leave my laptop in here, so tablet would have been the next best thing. He didn't take it. Then again, it's kind of old school. Maybe he's an electronic snob. I don't know. My printer's here. This is a good printer. He didn't take that. Umbrella lights, solar umbrella lights. Those would probably be good if you were camping or something. Maybe, I don't know. He didn't take them. Ryobi charger would only be good if you had Ryobi tools. Elvis glasses. Yeah, all this stuff is still here.
When she reviews the footage, she realizes her electronics weren't touched. What's missing? Alcohol, hand sanitizer, toilet paper. He took the practical survival stuff and left everything worth money behind. She originally set up that camera as a test. What she discovered instead was someone who appeared to be in greater need than she was in danger. Still, that was an uncomfortably close call. If you're a woman traveling or camping on your own, make sure someone you trust always knows your whereabouts before you go anywhere, and never second guess your gut when something doesn't feel right. Please look out for yourselves out there. Spending the night in his van, this guy came across something that genuinely unsettled him. A pair of figures sat completely still inside a nearby car, locked in deeply uncomfortable positions for 10 straight minutes. Their faces looked wrong, their movements rigid and robotic, enough to send a wave of dread through him. Every so often, they jerked slightly, then returned right back to that disturbing frozen state. So what exactly was happening? Rob Outdoor is a content creator who films his camping experiences across various locations using his camper van. He's built a following by taking on some pretty unconventional overnight challenges. Think cemeteries, random stretches of farmland, spots most people would never dream of sleeping in. And honestly, he's worth a watch. But in this particular video, he decided to do something a little different. Rather than heading out into the wild, he chose to park up for the night in a UK parking lot. A location that, let's put it this way, carries a certain reputation when the sun goes down. The whole concept was meant to be fun, lighthearted, maybe good for a laugh, just to see how the night would unfold. He made his way there along a bumpy, uneven track that already gave the whole thing a slightly unsettling edge. After rattling down that road for a bit, he finally pulled into the lot and got himself settled, with no idea that the night ahead wasn't going to stay quite as amusing as he'd imagined.
Into stealth mode. Right up against this sort of, oh god, here we go. I was going to say right up against this here, so no one can park next to me. That's the drive you come in, and this was only a small car park. So that car there, single male occupant. Car next to it, guy just walking his dog, and the car next to that, single male occupant. And then there's a couple of empty cars here, which I assume are dog walkers. So again, what are people doing here? What do people, if they're not, you know, I mean, what am I doing here, to be honest? What am I doing here? Oh God. Anyway, what am I doing here? Yeah.
When he first arrived, the atmosphere seemed pretty relaxed. He got started on cooking a meal, and that's when things took their first weird turn. An older man pulled up nearby, got out of his car, walked into the tree line, and then just stayed there, staring in the direction of the van.
Pulled up. Bloke in the van's just pulled up. He was parked there. He just drove off. He was parked there. He walked down there, and I was at the back there cleaning my stuff. In fact, I can still see a man there. See him? So that bloke walked down there and then walked behind my van where I was cleaning my stuff. Look at that bloke there, look. Trying to look in the back of my van. Look at him.
He was half concealed behind a tree, angling himself just enough to keep an eye on things without being fully visible. It was pretty clear he was trying not to be noticed. But what was his actual intention? After watching this play out for a moment, Rob decided he wasn't going to let it slide. He climbed out of the van to address it directly, and here's how that exchange went.
Yeah, just just having a bit of dinner, like, you know what I mean? So, yeah. How about yourself? You alright?
Yeah, I've been having a day of them.
Yeah. Much about?
Not so bad, actually.
No.
Saw a couple, but always say some down to us relatives.
Yeah. No, it's nice to do, isn't it? It's nice to get away, isn't it? Yeah. Just had a curry and
Sorry?
I've just had a curry and it seemed like a good idea at the time, but not so much anymore.
Yeah. It's the clearing up that's the...
It is, it's a bloody... Yeah. Wasn't not ideal, to be honest. But anyway.
You will. Well equipped anyway.
Well, try my best. So when the wife kicks me out, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Right, I better leave you to it.
Alright mate, no worries.
I'll have my dinner.
Have a nice evening.
And you.
Cheers, ciao. You can't tell me that's not weird. An Astra estate. Something tells me he'll be back. Something tells me he'll be back later on. But yeah, he was just hovering down here. He was hovering down here. This is where the other guy come. Now when I was trying to show you, I was in the back of the van, he was hovering here trying to look inside my van. And he stopped. And I'm not sure exactly what the camera picked up. I'm not sure what you could hear or not. But he said he'd just been deer hunting. Alright mate, that's what you call it. Well, he's driving off.
Now, even if the guy turned out to be completely harmless, there's no getting around just how deeply uncomfortable that whole interaction was. Genuinely, I can't work out what he thought he was doing. Given what that parking lot is known for, maybe he was trying to get a look inside the van to see if something was happening in there. Whatever his reasoning, it was creepy. And that wasn't even the end of it. Over the next few hours, Rob picked up on more and more strange behavior around him. things that gradually chipped away at his sense of safety. And honestly, I would have felt exactly the same way.
That van's back. He was down here earlier on. Then he went and parked up there. Now he's just do that again. So that's the third time he's done that. Look what's back, people. Look what...
A red van kept reappearing, not once or twice, but upwards of 5 times, almost as if the driver was scoping something out. It stopped feeling like coincidence pretty quickly and started feeling deliberate. Rob eventually decided to wind down for the night, but right as he was getting ready to do that, the same van rolled back in, blasted its horn, and then drove away. That alone would have sent most people packing. Even so, Rob stuck it out and managed to get through the rest of the night without further incident. Honestly though, I'm not sure I could have done the same. So what was actually going on out there? The older man's behavior was strange from the start and hard to shake off. You have to wonder, was he looking for someone? And if so, had he done this kind of thing before? That sort of lurking is genuinely unsettling, and it's hard to imagine anyone feeling at ease knowing someone like that was hovering nearby. As for the van, it's difficult to say what they were after. Maybe they kept circling back hoping the camper would be gone so they could get on with whatever they had in mind. There's really no way to know for certain. But the bigger point is this: locations with that kind of reputation aren't well suited for solo camping, particularly if you're a woman on your own. Things can escalate fast, and what begins as a fun little challenge can very quickly become something far more uncomfortable or worse. On January 24th, 2026, the YouTube channel Brian Waters Outdoors posted a video in which he made camp entirely by himself in a secluded, off-the-radar location just as a major ice storm was bearing down on Texas.
We're good. We should have heat tonight. 7 liters of diesel in here, full battery.
The spot appeared calm and undisturbed at first, but once the sun began to sink, the quiet surrounding him started to feel less like peace and more like a warning. Something about the area gave off the sense that people had been avoiding it deliberately.
Hoping I'm going to be able to get some animals tonight because there's a ton of tracks. I saw a bunch of deer coming up here. I've already got my chair set up. It feels kind of weird being out here, to be honest, kind of almost like an ominous vibe because, let's see, in about 26 hours, Texas is going to be completely shut down. We are going to get that Arctic ice storm that's coming in similar to 2021. Probably not quite as bad as 2021, but they're claiming or predicting we're going to get around an inch of ice, ½ inch to an inch of ice, and 3 to 4 inches of snow. That doesn't sound bad. I know I was talking to a buddy that lives up in Wisconsin today. I think they're predicted to get like 30 below, I think is what he said, and 8 to 10 inches of snow. But I told him, I'm like, dude, we're getting an inch of ice. And he agreed that he would much rather have what he's getting than what's in store for Texas. So we are coming up here, guys. I could see the line coming out of Walmart.
Even as he tried to unwind and settle into the night, an odd tension lingered in the atmosphere, the kind that has you scanning your surroundings over and over without being able to explain why.
Keep having to put my jacket on and off. As soon as I stop moving, it gets cold. I think it's around 50.
For a stretch of time, the evening unfolded exactly as he'd anticipated. A crackling fire, a hot meal, and complete solitude deep in the wild. But that comfortable atmosphere gradually began curdling into something much harder to shake.
Well, guys, I don't know what it is about this little spot, but I've had a really good time on this episode. It's been super relaxing. Dinner was awesome. Really, there's no one around me. There's a tent camper 100 yards away. And I think I've just been looking forward to getting back out here in that truck camper since a couple of weeks ago. So it's just been a good vibe all around, and definitely good drinks. I'm struggling to get the second one down. I hate to admit, but it's been a good evening. Because I'm sitting here trying to enjoy my fire, and out of nowhere,
At first, he couldn't quite process what he was seeing. A figure had emerged from the darkness, moving in a strange and erratic way. What made it all the more chilling was that not a single other person had been spotted anywhere in the area throughout the entire day.
There's this, I'm gonna go ahead and call him a nutbag, probably 100 yards away from me, dancing around. Just feels kind of weird. Luckily, you know, I don't go anywhere without protection, but that's the last thing that I want to have to do while out here enjoying camping. But I don't know where he came from. I don't know if he's staying in that tent that's, you know, probably about 100 yards away. But there's definitely something wrong with that dude. Here's what I'm looking at right now, and you can see that he's well having a good time inside his little mind. I don't know what's going on with this dude. So yeah, I'm probably not going to sleep quite as well as I thought that I was going to tonight, knowing that that's around me.
Then things took a far more alarming turn. The figure began edging steadily toward his campsite. With every passing moment, the gap between them narrowed, and whatever sense of ease had existed before evaporated completely.
It actually looks like he's walking over this way now. I don't know. Wish me luck.
The man outside kept drifting around aimlessly, almost as though he either hadn't registered the campsite at all, or simply had no concern about being watched.
I can't see him with my bare eyes, so I'm having to use my phone to kind of watch him. So, we'll see. Oh man, what a way to end the night. What a crazy nutbag. I gotta get buckled down here real quick. Alright, well, interesting. That definitely made for an interesting end of the evening. I knew something looked weird with that campsite, and I don't know if the guy's drunk or if he's on meth. I have no idea.
All of a sudden, every minor sound inside the truck felt like a potential threat. Even routine equipment noises seemed sharp enough to draw unwanted attention. The vehicle no longer felt like a reliable refuge, and the isolation that had once been so appealing now felt dangerously exposed.
Open. And this is the one time I wish I had a fiberglass shell, to be honest with you. But my cooler just cut on and I thought it was something out there. Oh, I should sleep really well tonight. Luckily, I'm a card-carrying member in Texas. And don't worry guys, this isn't getting that weird. I'm sure YouTube's gonna hate me, but it's the first time I've ever really felt like I needed this. So we're gonna keep that nice and close tonight. But I honestly probably don't think that he would make it 10 feet without falling over. I can't see him with my eyes anymore, but I can use my phone.
Inside, he remained on full alert, tracking every sound from outside with total focus, acutely aware that things could spiral in an instant if the stranger chose to close the distance any further. The most unsettling part was having no way of knowing whether the man had actually gone or was still lurking somewhere just beyond the reach of the light.
What he's doing, and he's finally, I guess, trying to start a fire. He's out there chopping live trees down to get his firewood. So, yeah, very interesting. But I will say, my gosh, guys, it is It is very warm in here. It is nice and toasty. It's going to get cold tonight, and I don't want to have another night like a couple weeks ago where it was just bitter cold in here. So I'm totally okay with that. So I think I'm going to get my curtain put up on the back for sure tonight. And at least on this side tonight, I've got this wood side panel for my diesel heater. So a little bit harder to, I guess, get into. Oh, what a nut. So, all right, I gotta change clothes, get this more set up, and we'll check back in.
The night ultimately passed without any direct confrontation, but the dread and unease never really loosened their grip.
Good morning, folks. It is 5:50 a.m. I don't know if you can hear, but it has started raining here. Luckily, it's not freezing yet. I don't even know what the weather is. 41 degrees right now. But, yeah, the rain is here. It's too early to have to get up. I don't have to get up. It's too early to wake up. Oh, why am I awake so early? I guess morning time confessionals here, guys. I didn't have any.
Even come morning with daylight breaking through the rain, one thought refused to leave. Sometimes the most frightening places are the ones that feel perfectly serene right up until the moment you understand you were never out there on your own.
McGee, wherever he went, I don't know where he is. But it was a pretty quiet night. Aside from the fact, it was just in my head that dude was out there dancing around being crazy, not knowing what he was on. But
Luke from Outdoor Gear Review was ready to shake things up. Instead of folding himself into the front seat like he'd done on past trips, he wanted to test out sleeping on a cot in the bed of his truck. What was supposed to be a straightforward gear experiment turned into a night he won't be forgetting anytime soon. The journey kicked off with Luke navigating through a wall of thick fog. The temperature was oddly mild for the conditions, around 60 degrees, despite patches of snow still clinging to the ground. That combination created a ghostly haze that made visibility genuinely unsettling.
It has been a long time since I've done a stealth truck camp. I did one a few years back, right when COVID started spreading around, and that was a lot of fun. A lot of people enjoyed that adventure, so hopefully you all will enjoy this adventure as well. My plan for this trip is to head off of the mountains, and together we will find a place to camp. Maybe a gas station, grocery store parking lot, Walmart, who knows. We will just have to wait and see where we end up. I'll tell you what though, folks, because it's so foggy, I'm going to shut off the camera and drive. I really do need to focus on what I'm doing here because...
Once he pushed past the fog, Luke started scoping out somewhere to pull over for the night.
Now folks, that is an interesting option over there. We have a Sheetz gas station. Unfortunately, it's on the other side of the road and there's no easy way to get to it. I can do a U-turn, but for now, let's just keep driving and let's see what we can find. There may be something better down the road here, not only for parking, but also for some food. Now folks, I just saw a sign for Walmart. We might as well just keep on going.
He rolled past a gas station without stopping, then caught sight of a Walmart sign and decided that was the one. The lot was spacious and barely occupied, ideal for a quiet, low-profile overnight stay. He did his usual walkthrough of the area to get a feel for whether it was safe, something he always does before bedding down in a public spot, and everything checked out fine. He then drove over to a nearby Taco Bell to grab dinner, only to find the place absolutely swarming with college students. He ended up standing around for about 25 minutes before walking out with a bag of hard-shell tacos and heading back to his parking spot. Settled back in the truck, he cracked the windows to let in some air and worked his way through his now soggy tacos. His mind drifted to all the different cars and trucks he had slept in across the country over the years. He brought up a story about an old friend who had shoplifted from a Walmart during one of their road trips together. a betrayal that ended that friendship on the spot. By around 1 a.m, Luke was ready to call it. He stretched out on the cot, which held up surprisingly well, even if he had to angle himself slightly against the door. The plan was simple: wake up early, brew some coffee, and get moving. But at 3 a.m, something jolted him awake. A man was circling the parking lot, chanting the same eerie song on repeat. Through the partially open windows, Luke could pick out lyrics referencing the devil. For hours, this figure drifted through the lot in loops, occasionally shrieking at dumpsters and unleashing strings of profanity. Luke stayed completely still, not about to draw any attention to himself. At one point, a truck driver pulled in, took one listen to the chaos, and reversed right back out. Somehow, in spite of everything going on outside, Luke eventually drifted back off to sleep. He came to around 6:30 in the morning, by which point the lot had already filled up with early shoppers.
And yeah, I don't know. Like, he just walks around this parking lot like all night long. It's pretty bizarre. You might be able to hear him singing right now. It's really, really strange, folks. I thought he was singing like Christian music, but that's not the case. I just heard him blurt out, "Mother." Anyways, that was my night. I did sleep good, but it has been interesting.
Yet the strange figure was still out there, still cycling through his unsettling songs as though he'd kept it up the entire night. Over his morning coffee, Luke sat there processing what had just gone down. The cot itself had been a genuine upgrade over the front seat, no question about that, but peaceful was the last word he'd used to describe the night, just like so many other parking lot overnights before it. This one was a reminder that familiar, everyday places can turn genuinely unnerving once the rest of the world goes to sleep. The truck setup had passed the test, but Luke had once again walked away with exactly the kind of bizarre middle-of-the-night encounter that you just don't stumble into when you're tucked in at home. Our first clip comes from a YouTuber who goes by Travel Snacks, and she was wrapping things up in Texas back in January 2023 after spending time with her son and cruising through Dallas to scout out potential neighborhoods to settle down in.
I was in Texas and it was going to be my last day. I was eating my kolache and it was delicious, but then I just wanted to drive around a little bit more, looking for different neighborhoods, places to live possibly. But I drove around like 3 or 4 different neighborhoods. The first one just, I don't know, it was very nice, beautiful, but just felt very, to me, lonely. It just, is this working? Maybe it's just that I didn't really see a lot of people walking around. And then the next neighborhood that I drove around was really nice. Lots of nice houses. And I have a feeling that they're really probably expensive. And I want to live somewhere that's a little bit more vibrant, maybe. And then the third neighborhood I drove through was more my style of house in terms of size. Almost like little cottage style houses, which I think is very cute. But the two things that I noticed is that, number one, there's no garages. It's just like a pull-up little driveway, which is okay because my van is tall, and if I find a place, it's gonna have to have a garage that's extra tall, which is probably pretty hard to find. And then that night, I wanted to take my son out to dinner as just a thank you for helping me with fixing my pipes and letting me stay at his house for a few days and stuff like that. So we went to a Mexican food restaurant called Rayo's Taqueria. He chose it. He said that he was looking for a specific kind of taco, birria tacos, which looked delicious. I just had a bean and cheese and avocado burrito. But when I told him to pick a restaurant, I was like, as long as they have good queso, That's all that matters. And this place, their queso was so good. I could have drank it straight from that little bowl. Now, I will say, I was not impressed with their pricing on the queso, because that little container was $8.50 for the queso and chips. What is this, liquid gold? I mean, it tasted good though, I will say. But it was the experience. Me and my son had a really nice time. So this morning I got up, went to Planet Fitness, got my shower, read my Bible. And
Her next destination is Jacksonville, Florida, and rather than powering through the drive in one shot, she decides to take it easy and enjoy the journey. She plots a course that lets her check out several cities along the way without burning herself out on the road.
the things I've learned about myself is that I really don't like driving long distances every day. I don't like it when I have to drive like 5, 6, 10 hours a day to get somewhere. I enjoy driving, but maybe just 2 or 3 hours at a time. So I decided to just map out what the route is from Dallas to Jacksonville, driving 3 hours a day. So I just kind of put it in my planner. Okay, like I'm going from here to here on this day, and the next day and the next day. So what I've learned is never to exercise or exert yourself to the point of pain. If I were to keep going, I'm definitely going to have some kind of back pull in my future. So I'm just going to take a quick walk, just get in some more steps and some more activity. And fun little fact, I forgot about this place. Like I remember taking this walk before, this park, but I didn't remember where it was in the world. And then when I pulled up, I was like, oh, I've been here before. So I'm in Bossier City, Louisiana. And it's kind of a cold day, but because I've been skipping, I'm warm. So I'm just going to take a quick little walk.
Living the van life means you're never too far from an unexpected obstacle. That can sometimes mean finding yourself in uncertain situations that put your personal safety at risk, particularly once the sun goes down.
It's away, but I thought I would just film a little bit of Bossier City, which is right near Shreveport, Louisiana. This, Bass Pro Shops, is right next to Margaritaville Hotel. Oh, there's a kitty. Stray cat. All right, this is a little better. Nice. This guy just tried to walk up to me. So, and then this guy with his lights that just flashed on me. I mean, I feel bad because he's asking for a jump, but you shouldn't, as a man, approach a woman asking her for a jump. There's 50 million other cars in this parking lot, and you can go into the casino and ask. Maybe when he saw that I was a woman, he didn't keep coming up to my van, but I just kept looking down, so it's a no for me. I'm going in the back. Make sure I lock my door. What seems weird to me is that he's just standing there back by his truck. Maybe he's just frazzled, but if it was me, I would definitely go in to the casino and see if there's like a security that could help. And I'm just scoping it out now because he had started to walk up to my van and then he kind of just stopped approaching me, but I don't want him to walk back over here, so I just want to make sure. Where did he go? Oh, there he is. There he is. He's over here. Okay. Good job, guy. He's walking towards the casino. Alright. So, these are the fun... Well, it's only fun if nothing bad happens, but these are the fun things that I like to do, is to, like, have these little spy moments from my van, because I'm nosy. But it's just kind of cool to be, like, parked outside of Margaritaville. Alright. It's nice and quiet.
Voyager Overland is a YouTube channel built around overland travel and backcountry camping expeditions deep in the Canadian wild. Their adventures usually feature jeep overlanding, off-grid camping, and soaking in the sweeping landscapes of Alberta and British Columbia. Back in October 2024, the crew set out on a 5-day camping trip to Ruby Falls in the Alberta Rockies.
So this time we have a 5-day window and we're heading to the mountains. And this time we have the grandkids with us. So the criteria is always the same with the grandkids. They want to be near water or a creek, a river, something so they can play. And when I asked them where they wanted to go, they both said the same thing. They said,
the drive through Alberta's backcountry is nothing less than spectacular, with jaw-dropping mountain panoramas that seem to go on forever. A white Rubicon and a red Jeep push through the demanding terrain without missing a beat, tackling slick muddy tracks, rocky riverbeds, and river crossings that really put these machines to the test. After a grueling but rewarding push through the wilderness, the group finally arrives at their campsite near Ruby Falls. Rooftop tents go up, the waterfall gets explored, and everyone gathers around the fire for some well-earned downtime. It's the ideal escape from civilization, until something odd throws a wrench in the experience.
for a while now I've been putting out a trail cam at night, hoping to catch some wildlife around camp while we're sleeping. And with my granddaughter who just loves wildlife, how cool could it be if I could show her some night pictures of what's walking around at night while we're sleeping? Now I must admit I haven't had any luck so far. I've put out the camera many times and never captured any footage.
Now, before we get into what showed up on footage, let me paint you a picture. This is true deep wilderness camping. No signal, no neighboring campers, just this family and whatever creatures share the Alberta Rockies with them. A trail camera had been positioned with a solid view of the entire campsite.
Well, good morning. This morning it almost feels like somebody doesn't want us to camp here anymore. The weather is sucked in and not going anywhere. It's been raining for hours here. But I think we're gonna pack up. We're going home today anyway. We're gonna pack up.
So what do you think turned up on that camera? A nosy bear investigating their gear, a stranger passing through the area, or maybe something that doesn't have such a simple explanation? Drop your theories down in the comments. Johnny, the creator behind the YouTube channel Johnny Paranormal, makes a habit of venturing into Japan's Akigahara Forest, commonly referred to as the Sea of Trees, a place with a deeply unsettling reputation tied to suicide. He documents everything he encounters out there, frequently stumbling upon personal items left behind by people who never walked back out. On one particular trip, he caught sight of something moving through the trees and felt compelled to go check it out. See for yourself what unfolded next.
Buddy. Alright. Konnichiwa. Where are you going?
Where's he still running? He's up in there.
Oi! I'm gonna come after you. You might as well stop running, mate.
Oh, there you go. That's him, he just took off.
The stranger bolted without so much as a glance over his shoulder, leaving Johnny completely baffled by the reaction. It's pretty obvious the guy perceived Johnny as some kind of threat, and as I've said before, when you're out in the wild, it's not the bears or whatever lurks in the shadows you need to worry about, it's the other humans. Johnny took off after him, and somewhere in the middle of that pursuit, he stumbled onto something far more disturbing, a body.
Believe this. I've just found another hanging. Are you kidding me? Well, look at the good thing, it's another body I can get home. Right through these trees, right in front of me. 50 meters. I don't know where old mate's gone, but someone's hanged themselves. 50 meters in front of me.
And there it is, the reason this forest carries such a dark name. As grim as that discovery was, if you're willing to find a silver lining anywhere in the story, Johnny's presence there may have given the deceased person's family at least some measure of closure. The story originates from a YouTube channel called Under the Weather, where the creator shares footage from his solo camping expeditions, hiking journeys, and wilderness treks throughout Scotland. On the evening of November 16th, 2022, he headed out to a Scottish glen sitting snugly between two narrow creeks, their banks edged with running water. He reached the spot full of anticipation, looking forward to a calm, restorative night out in nature, with no idea that the hours ahead would turn into something deeply disturbing.
Camp overnight, get a fire going, cook up some chicken wings, I hope, and going to cook with alcohol for the first time, so stay around and see how that goes. And that should be it, so let's have some fun. Let's check it out. I think that marks the spot.
He carefully pitched his camp in a sheltered area between the two creeks, their soft, constant flow forming a natural backdrop of sound. As the light faded and the trees fell into shadow, the woods grew quiet and he settled in to make his dinner.
Now we're cooking with alcohol. It's a bit windy, but not bad. Right, done at last. That was amateur hour. I forgot the skewers, so you may have seen me trying with a couple of wee bendy sticks, but anyway, here we are. We have fried burnt chicken wings, mashed potato, which is actually not too bad, and some cheese coleslaw. Feels good. Oh, that feels good. A bit too hot, but right. So I think I'm going to go to sleep. And unless something crazy happens, I will see you in the morning. Good night.
He settled into his tent, hoping for a peaceful night's rest, but he was suddenly jolted awake by strange, unexplainable noises coming from outside his camp.
Hello? 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 The thing is, I'm kind of on an island here, so there's river on that side, river on that side. It's very hard to get down here if If it's a human, that is. Hello? Typical, now I can't hear a thing. Right, I'll turn the light off.
He was snapped awake by the sound of laughter and low, rumbling grunts drifting through the dark, sounds that struck him as deeply wrong. Then, just as abruptly as they had begun, they fell silent. Searching for a rational explanation, he convinced himself it was probably some local animal and managed to fall back asleep.
I've got a knife in here. I've got a knife. I've got a knife. Right. Well, that definitely sounded like somebody there. But there's no one here. Every time I come out, it's empty. Unless I come out the fucking river. I don't even think. No, because as I said, I'm basically on an island, so there's no way that anyone could actually get it. Jesus Christ! Hello? 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 Jesus Christ!
A heavy, throaty growl tore through the stillness of the night, stopping him cold. Seconds later, something struck his tent with tremendous force. Whatever lurked outside seemed determined to make its presence known. With his pulse hammering, he stepped out to investigate, only for something else to come flying at him from the blackness. And yet there was nobody there, no shade, no silhouette, nothing at all. Rattled and uncertain what he was dealing with, he retreated back inside his tent, recognizing that the thin fabric walls offered more safety than standing exposed while something unseen prowled just beyond the tree line.
Hello? Heard that noise again. It sounds like somebody laughing outside, but I have no idea. Huh, unless it's the kelpies. Oh. Hello? Right, I might have to leave. But I can't leave, so I'm stuck here for the whole night. If I don't make it, this is my last will and testament, right? You're the last person to see me alive. Yeah. So when they say, how did you sleep? I'm like, great. Like a psycho with a knife. Good night. Good night. Good night. What the hell was that? Oh, it's my pillow. Right. Come on, you big scaredy cat. That's it. Screw it. Lights off.
With nowhere to go and his nerves completely frayed, he endured what felt like an endless night, willing the sun to rise. When daylight finally broke through, a flood of relief hit him, though the weight of what he had experienced refused to lift.
Oh God. What a night that was. Oh, that was terrifying. It sounded like hysterical laughing that woke me up. Yeah, I just heard people or somebody, noises around there. Like somebody was coming through the water, like your mind running wild. And obviously I went out, had a wee look. Didn't see anything, and then I heard like footsteps. I just ran back in here. And then it did go silent after a while, which was alright, so I did get back to sleep. How do we look outside and see any damage or anything? Right, can I open this with one hand? Oh, hello?
He gathered his belongings and made his way out of the glen, leaving behind what had been the most harrowing night of his life. But the questions followed him home. What exactly had been out there with him? The laughter echoing through the dark, the oppressive sense that something was watching. Whatever shared that glen with him that night, the truth of it remains unknown. The next unsettling clip comes from the Dateline 420, a YouTube channel dedicated to urban exploration, eerie finds, and unexplained phenomena. The channel regularly takes viewers inside abandoned and forgotten places where its creator stumbles upon some genuinely disturbing things. It's October 4th, 2016, and here the creator finds himself deep in the forest, pushing along an isolated trail hemmed in by rolling hills. As he ventures further, he encounters something that stops him cold. Missing persons flyers pinned to tree trunks, some going all the way back to 2006, each one detailing a different individual who vanished without explanation from locations across multiple states. The dread only deepens when he spots a crude shelter, or possibly a trap, constructed from branches and sticks, casting serious doubt over what this area is actually being used for. Then, just when things couldn't feel more threatening, distant voices drift through the trees, a stark reminder that he's out here alone, cut off from any help, and potentially under someone's watch.
Okay, we're deep in the woods. Sort of, we're like on the border, because like there's a side of the woods where there's people's houses. But I came to a trail that led to a trail that led to a trail, up the hill, and I came down this, and as you can see, probably can see, it's f***ing blocked. There's trees knocked over, blocking it, and cut down so that it's hard to get down the hill. But I saw what looked like a fire pit, and since I've already found one back the way I came, and it was just made by neighborhood kids, and when I was there I met one of the kids that rides a dirt bike in here, and he was probably like in his 20s. I don't know if he was like a kid, but the point is I thought this might be something similar. So I come down the f***ing hill, and remember, we're still in the woods. We're still in the f***ing woods, right? I don't know what this is. Do you see the f***ing trees? Look at the white shit, okay? I was like, okay, these are probably no trespassing signs, or maybe it's something for the wildlife or something. And look, we're bordered on all sides by hills. Anyone with any sense of strategy or tactics, let's, being in the center of a bunch of hills is tactically disadvantageous because people can hide on the tops and throw things or shoot at you. Anyway, I'll cut right to the chase because I might die. Look what these f***ing are. What the f*** is going on in here? And this isn't like woods I've never been to. Like, I've been here before. I've been here a lot. I've been here so much, I've actually been to the hospital getting stitches because of some of the adventures that I've had. That's beside the point. These are all different fucking people. And they're all just... This is Utah, Florida. They're all different. They're all fucking different. Every single one. This one's from Georgia. And look at this shit. Like, look where the fuck we are. Who the f*** does something like this? What's this? This is some kind of oil filter, I think. Old as f***. Yeah, so like... Anyway, I'll tell you the location is inside the dunes. The dunes on East Jericho by where Pathmark used to be. You gotta go in and you gotta just keep going in. Making... What did I do? How did I get here? Made a series of lefts and went through the fence, and I just mostly followed the main trails, and then I kind of just kept making a left. This one's from South Carolina. Jesus, like, look not only how many there are and the fact that we're in here, but the trouble that somebody went through. Like, who the is gonna... Jesus, fuck. Sorry. Spiderwebs. Oh, no, this is a dude. It's a dude, 26, last seen August 5th. There's no year. LAPD. Like, you had to stand in this shit. The of all the days not to bring my fucking bug spray. But like, somebody standing in this shit to tape these up. I don't even know whose house that is down there. I don't know anything about this fire pit. Somebody clearly went to...
If you came across something like this on a trail, what would your next move be? Push forward out of curiosity, or turn around and never look back?
You gotta understand, if that is somebody's property, and I'm pretty sure that it is, considering you can hear the traffic coming from that direction. Considering this is the side of the woods where people's property be at, and considering that's some shit. Like, this is bad. I do not have a gun. All I got is this, which incidentally was my birthday present to myself. This is the Kabar bacon maker, which is just perfect. But I mean, what am I going to do against a guy with a gun? You know what I mean? What's this one? Christopher, Oregon. F***ing spider webs. And we got this one. And this, obviously, these, you can tell, these aren't new. Like, not just that this is 2012, Noblesville, Indiana, right? Look at the f***ing tape. Look at the water damage. These have been hanging up for a while. And look at this. Like, just look at this. Who the f*** is gonna decorate this? What the f***? This guy's a grown-up. (2009) Burbank, California. 2009. The other problem with this shit, I mean, consider, you know, I'm like, this is a hog hunting knife versus somebody that doesn't have a gun. This thing is badass, but oh fuck, there's a dog down there. If I can see him, he can see me. All I'm saying is, if I have a gun and I'm facing a guy with a knife, I'm probably gonna emerge victorious. But what the f*** is it saying? No, that dog threw me off. There might be people down there. I should definitely get the f*** out of here. See, the problem is, you know, obviously I'm fairly well camouflaged, but this is a valley and I'm surrounded by hills. Somebody could be better camouflaged than me, more heavily armed than me. They could totally get the jump on me. Now, what's this one? Tim, Hamilton Police, 2013, Ancaster. I don't know what that says. But Indiana University, 2011. I can see the f***ing traffic on the road down there. What's this one? Laura Marie, Pinellas County, missing 2009. There's more. There's one there, one there, there's one there, there's one right in front of me, one there, and one there.
For a brief moment, it appears the explorer has the woods entirely to himself, still absorbing the weight of what he's just found. That sense of solitude, however, is about to be shattered.
Look at that. These are just the ones that I've gone and close up that I did close-ups of so far. Look at this. Look at this. What is this? Carolina Beach, North Carolina, 2009. And look, you had to walk through all this shit to hang these up. It's another missing guy. Brian Schaefer, 2006. OSU medical student. Look over there. You see that shit? The orange thing on the tree. It's a drop light. Or this. Holy shit, I just realized what I'm looking at. The video's not doing it justice, but this bundle of sticks, they're lashed together. That's a cage of some kind, or a hut, or a lean-to or something. And over here in the middle of the fire pit, that's a shovel. I don't even know if this fucking shit is booby-trapped. Think about it. Somebody that could put this together, like, They could be watching me right now. What's in there? "21 years old, Santa Ana, California, missing 2006. All of these sticks that you can see, they're all lashed together at right angles, as if to make a cage, or a shelter, or a lean-to, or a trap. And this part right in the middle, it's a hole. It's a filled-in hole, but it's a hole. I'm assuming that whatever this is, or was, collapsed. But whatever it was intricate, and it clearly took a lot of time to make. Somebody worked pretty hard on this. What's this one? Stacy Peterson, 23 years old, missing from Illinois, 2007. Oh shit, I heard voices. We have to get the out of here. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna. We gotta stop recording so that I can post this. I'm not, I got a hiking tracker running on,
Without warning, voices carry through the trees, and then the unmistakable sound of footsteps closing in. He doesn't hesitate, choosing to run rather than stick around and find out who's coming. But the questions he left behind are impossible to shake. Who puts missing persons flyers up this deep in the wilderness? And that pit dug into the ground and concealed under a layer of leaves, was that natural or deliberately set? This whole encounter leaves far more unanswered than resolved. What's your take? A string of creepy coincidences? Or something with a much darker explanation? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and really ask yourself what you would have done in his position. Maybe the wildlife was never the real threat out there. In the remote and forgotten corners we choose to wander, it's the sudden realization that another person is nearby that transforms an adventure into something you won't soon forget. In what was once a publicly available video, Andrew from the YouTube channel Andrew Duffy, along with a small group of friends, found themselves caught in what can only be called a living nightmare. One that began as a casual adventure and ended with them running for their lives. Andrew, his friend Daniel, and Daniel's wife had set out to explore an abandoned hotel tucked deep within the woods. The place had a reputation for being haunted, though the group wasn't buying into any of that. They were there out of pure curiosity, hoping to document whatever was left of the deteriorating old building. What they weren't prepared for was the fact that the sounds they'd encounter that night had nothing to do with the supernatural. They made their way inside through a gap in the floor. The moment they crossed the threshold, the ambient noise of the forest gave way to a suffocating quiet. Dust hung in the air, and the stench of rotting timber and damp mildew clung to everything around them. It was obvious the place had sat empty for a long time, and yet within minutes of stepping inside, something began making noise.
Shh, quiet. I can hear talking. I can hear talking. I can hear talking. What the hell was that? It's a female's voice. What's up there?
See all the ties?
It's just so strange how a spider works. Oh yeah, I've just heard something. A banging, like a weird growling noise.
Did you hear it?
I heard it. What was that? Oi, what was that?
Did you hear something?
Yeah. Oi, don't run. Don't run. Don't run.
No, just stay. Don't get off. Hello? They're coming from in here. Hello?
Bro, this place is no freaking joke. Trust me, watch yourself, things come flying.
At first, it was barely audible, like hushed conversation drifting from somewhere just around the corner. Then those faint murmurs sharpened into something more recognizable. Actual voices. The trio froze, eyes darting toward one another. Had somebody else come in after them? Then came a low, guttural growl reverberating through the hollow hallways. Daniel's wife grabbed his arm, her unease impossible to hide. The growl gave way to footsteps, slow, measured, and heavy. Whatever was moving out there in the dark.
I'm telling you, this spirit gets real pissed off. Yeah. And the actual noise you can hear right now, I think it's the same noise as what we could hear from when we first entered the property, which was music from someone's back garden. I think that's what we can hear, to be fair. But there was banging inside here, and definitely a growl. You heard a growl, didn't you? I heard a growling noise.
I just heard footsteps, I didn't hear a growl, but
I heard a growl.
What, did you hear a growl?
A growl and a bang I heard. A bang and a growl. Like, it was like boom, same time.
That's what I heard.
At exactly the same time, wasn't it?
That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, very weird.
And then you heard the...
Yeah. What the hell? I can hear someone talking. I'm sure I've just heard a woman say, I've seen them go inside. I'm sure I heard a woman say, I've just seen them go inside or something. I'm not sure, listen.
It wasn't in any hurry. In spite of the mounting dread, the group pressed on, still clinging to the idea that there had to be a logical explanation. Wind, maybe. A small animal, the groan of an aging structure settling. But then things started physically moving. A kettle launched itself across the room and crashed into the wall. Andrew's breath caught sharply in his chest. Before anyone could process what they just witnessed, the kettle was hurled again, as though something unseen was deliberately trying to drive them out.
The most haunted part is definitely this bar, because that kettle...
I said this.
That kettle was launched.
You know when I was on the live stream last night?
Yeah.
I said this part felt more. I felt more in this part.
Yeah, this part is the haunted part, yeah.
Than anything.
Yeah.
Is this where you had the kettle chucked at you?
Yeah, the kettle's here on the floor, Donny. I mean, there's the kettle right there on the floor. It was as I was coming through this door, well, as I was going through that door, the kettle was launched. And then it was launched again for a second time. Yeah. Twice that happened. 2 times.
The situation took an even darker turn when a voice cut through the darkness from somewhere in the shadows. Where are you? The words sent a jolt of pure terror through all 3 of them. This was no paranormal encounter. Daniel urged everyone in a hushed voice to kill their lights. In the faint glow of a single remaining flashlight, they made out a figure. A man, hunched and half obscured, lurking just at the edge of visibility. The truth landed on all of them simultaneously. They were not alone in that building.
Twice that happened. 2 times. Yeah, 2 times that happened, yeah. Oh, Danny. Kill guys. Turn your light off. Turn it off. Grab some. Shh. Shut up.
Where are you? Gonna... Yeah. Where are you? Where are you gone?
Get out now. Go. Get out! Oh, this way! Go! Danny, come on! Go! Just go out! Go! This is the... Oh, this is the wrong way!
Quick!
Come on! Shit, where's the way out? Come on, get in, close it. Shh.
Where is you? Where are you?
I don't love to see.
Without any warning, the man launched himself toward them. Panic took over as all 3 bolted back the way they'd come, their flashlight beams swinging chaotically through the crumbling passageways. Daniel's wife screamed. The thunder of footsteps closing in behind them confirmed the worst. He was coming after them. They hit the door, but it refused to open. They were trapped. Andrew's mind was in overdrive, desperately scanning for any other way out. With no alternatives left, they pushed further into the building, gambling that another exit existed somewhere ahead.
Get her out first. Love. No, follow me.
No, wait,
I know the way.
wait.
I know the way. You need to follow me. Go, 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 go! This way! This way! Come on! Come on! Get out! Come on! Come on! Go, 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 go! Go! Go, Danny!
I think he's got it.
Danny! Danny!
Then, in the middle of the chaos, they realized Danny was gone. His camera was lying on the ground, but there was no sign of him. Andrew didn't waste a second. He turned and ran back toward the last place he'd seen his friend, calling out his name. The others screamed at him to stop, but abandoning Danny wasn't something he was willing to do. When he reached the spot, he found Danny pinned to the floor with the attacker standing over him. Running on pure adrenaline, Andrew threw himself at the man. Danny scrambled upright, and the two of them bolted. The group eventually discovered an unlocked door and burst out into the open air, gasping. Even once they were outside, they didn't stop. They kept running until the hotel was well behind them.
What do you mean? Come on. What the hell? Come on, get out of here. Come on. I'm going. I'm going. I'm going. I'm going. Oh, oh. Come on. Oh, shit. Quick, Robbie, come on. Robbie, come on. What the hell? What's just happened? Robbie, come at me. I had to punch him. Oh my god. Come on.
Have you done it?
Guys, we've just freaking been attacked right now. No word of a lie.
He's there.
What?
It's coming out.
What?
Breathless and shaking, struggling to make sense of what had just unfolded, they came to a disturbing realization. This wasn't some ghost story. Someone had been inside that hotel, waiting. When they later went back through their footage, they spotted things they'd missed entirely in the moment. Blurred shapes in the background, the sound of faint breathing, and that voice that had called out to them. Was the man a squatter? A predator with intent? Something harder to define?
Right now. No word of a lie.
He's there.
What?
It's coming out.
What?
They never found out. This harrowing video was originally posted to the Andrew Duffy YouTube channel and drew significant attention for the raw, unfiltered terror it captured. It has since been removed. What's your take on what went down in that footage? Same as always, drop your thoughts in the comments below. On November 11th, 2008, a trail camera positioned near an abandoned homestead recorded something deeply unsettling. A translucent, stooped figure appeared in a single frame, and within just 13 seconds, it was completely gone. The fact that this happened on Veterans Day made the whole thing even harder to shake. The land in question, locally referred to as the Old Smith Place, carried a painful past. Back in the 1950s, a family who lived on the property had lost their son in the Korean War. When observers pointed out that the figure's bent stance bore a striking resemblance to the sculptures at the Korean War Veterans Memorial, theories started flying. Was this the ghost of a fallen soldier making his way back to the place he once called home? TikToker Devin Coconuts had his camera rolling during a hitchhiking trip through some woodland, completely unaware that he had a passenger riding along on his jacket. A spider had been sitting there the entire time, perfectly blended in with the fabric. He didn't even catch it in the moment. It wasn't until he went back and watched the footage that he spotted it. Whether the thing was venomous or totally harmless, nobody seems to know for sure. But if you can identify it, YouTuber discovers more than 100 piles of cremated human remains scattered near the Las Vegas desert. Picture yourself cruising through the Nevada wilderness when something ahead stops you cold. Not a smashed vehicle, not a derelict structure, but hundreds of pale gray mounds dotting the ground just off the roadside. Your brain might not even process what you're seeing at first. The desert swallows all kinds of discarded junk, and illegal dumping is nothing new out there. But then law enforcement moved in for a closer look and confirmed something that sent a chill through everyone who heard it. Those mounds were the cremated remains of human beings, over 100 of them, and what might have been written off as roadside garbage suddenly became a mystery disturbing enough to capture the attention of the entire country. Because somebody had deliberately driven out into the barren stretch near Searchlight, Nevada, a tiny dot on the map roughly an hour from Las Vegas, and left behind what appeared to be the remains of more than 100 people. And the strangest thing is how still and quiet the scene feels when you watch the footage. No dramatic score, no strobing emergency lights, no frantic activity, just an endless expanse of desert rolling out in every direction, while the camera drifts slowly from one mound to the next. Pile after pile of ash baking beneath the open sky, some still holding fragments of urns, others bound together with zip ties, small details that suggest these remains once belonged to families who trusted somebody to handle them with dignity. That detail is the one that really burrowed into me, because cremated remains are not supposed to end up abandoned in the middle of nowhere. For most families, ashes represent the last tangible connection they have to a person they loved. Some people keep them on a shelf for years. Others carry them to somewhere that held meaning for the person who passed. Some lay them to rest alongside other family members. There is typically a purpose behind it, a sense of reverence, of memory, of closure. But this felt like something else entirely. This looked less like an act of remembrance and more like an act of disposal. And honestly, that is probably why the story traveled so fast across the internet. The mystery on its own is unsettling enough, but what really lingers is the human weight of it. Every single mound represented an actual person who lived a full life. Someone with loved ones, with habits, with birthdays and arguments and memories. And now the only evidence they ever existed was sitting exposed on the desert floor beside a dusty road. Investigators stated there was no immediate indication tying the remains to a recently shuttered funeral home, already facing scrutiny in a separate case. But speculation ignited almost instantly. Illegal dumping? Gross negligence? Someone quietly offloading unclaimed remains they no longer wanted to deal with? The theories multiplied fast, because the situation itself defies any easy rational explanation. Who loads more than 100 sets of cremated remains into a vehicle and drives them out into the desert? And perhaps even more unsettling is the question of how long those mounds had been sitting there before anyone came across them. The aerial footage makes the sheer scale of it even harder to absorb. Tiny, pale circles scattered across the desert floor, each one a human being whose identity may never be publicly confirmed. There is something deeply eerie about how insignificant those small piles appear against the vast emptiness surrounding them, like the landscape itself consumed whatever stories those people once carried. A funeral director speaking in the report said something that stayed with me long after. He pointed out that caring for the dead is ultimately an act of caring for the living too, that funerals and memorials are often the final chance a family gets to properly honor the person they lost. And I think that is precisely what makes this case feel so haunting, even without any graphic imagery or confirmed answers. It reaches into a fear that is deeply universally human, the fear of being forgotten, cast aside, reduced to something nameless after you're gone. Because when all was said and done, investigators standing out in that desert were not simply looking at scattered ashes. They were standing in front of more than 100 questions that may never be answered. On March 29th, 2026, Brendan posted a video that opened not with enthusiasm, but with a clear-cut warning. Having spent years camping across the UK in everything from regular cars to a converted ambulance, he was upfront about the fact that what unfolded on this particular trip was genuinely unusual. Out of countless nights outdoors, only a small number had ever gone sideways, and this one managed to stand apart for entirely the wrong reasons. His plan for the evening had been simple enough, a solo overnight stay in the Shropshire Hills, not far from where he lived. It was a spot that held real meaning for him, the same area where he'd first got into camping, back when his gear was basic and just being out in nature felt like more than enough. He was going to take a short walk through the hills and enjoy a quiet night on his own. But almost immediately, something about the whole thing felt wrong.
If it wasn't for the birdsong, it would be dead quiet. It was hard enough getting here, but I don't know if the reward is going to be what I imagined. The air is like soup, very moist. Just walking through this thick fog, I can feel the moisture.
Eventually, he cut the walk short and headed straight to his overnight location. Earlier in the evening, there had been a few other vehicles around, but by the time he'd finished eating and settled into the van, the car park had completely cleared out. He was on his own now, and he tried to unwind, but the cold started working against him fast. His diesel heater had packed in without warning, the temperature inside the van began to drop, and he found himself piling on extra layers just to stay comfortable. Then, right as he was getting ready to sleep, a group of boy racers rolled into the otherwise deserted car park.
Why park right next to me? I heard what sounded like teenagers laughing and giggling before. I was just about to get into bed. Flipping rave at Barry Ditches. Oh my god. I'm going to give it 10 minutes and hopefully they just...
It sounded like a bunch of teenagers messing around at first, the sort of disruption that's frustrating but usually short-lived. Brendan sat tight and waited them out, and after a while they moved on. But the quiet didn't last. Sometime past midnight, a completely different sound cut through the stillness.
Someone pull up outside the van. What the f*** was that?
A vehicle pulled up again, this time parking noticeably closer to him. And just as Brendan was trying to figure out what was going on outside in the dark, the side of the van took a sudden hit, the unmistakable wet smack of eggs being thrown. Whoever had come back hadn't done so by chance. The whole thing was over in seconds, fast and deliberate, and the car tore off into the night before there was any opportunity to respond. In an instant, the entire mood of the evening shifted into something deeply unsettling. Brendan didn't hang around. Within minutes, he'd made up his mind to go. Staying in a place that no longer felt remote or secure simply wasn't something he was willing to do. He pulled out close to 1 a.m, the roads completely empty as he drove home, rather than pushing on into the night. Come daylight, the damage looked almost trivial, just dried eggs smeared across the van's bodywork. But that wasn't really the part that stuck with him, because in the kinds of places where you go expecting solitude to make you feel safe, it only takes one unexpected return to show you just how fragile that sense of security actually is. Elliot and Joe from the Ghost Theory channel make their way back to a crumbling forest mansion, determined to track down whatever was responsible for the screams that drove them away last time.
Doing that, we actually heard strange noises coming within the building, so we decided to stop doing the interviews and just do a small investigation for members. So we've decided to come back now, once and for all, to find out what is really haunting this mansion. What? Are you f***ing serious?
Well, as you can see, the house is behind me, and if that doesn't look like something out of a horror film, then I don't know what does. But we're going to go in and have a look around and just see what's changed. It's not going to be a huge amount to look at, I'd imagine. It's quite destroyed.
I mean, straight away you can just see the decay is absolutely unbelievable.
Oh yeah, it's been totally ransacked. I'm going to start in here, because this is kind of like... Oh! What?
The structure is a hollowed-out wreck of decay and creeping vines, and as they make their way up the unstable staircase to the second floor, they have no idea that something in the building may already be aware of their presence.
Are you able to do anything to let us know that you're here?
I've
What?
Just seen a shadow go past the stairs. I'm just waiting to see if it's a bat, but that was very clear, like, movement.
I saw a shadow earlier when we were doing the intro.
Did you used to live here?
It's like a... I saw we always hear a bell. It's like a bell. Like, ding.
What's that noise?
Which one? Sake.
I don't know. I'll go down a level.
A dark shape drifts past the well-known staircase, and then the stillness is shattered by something that has no business existing in an abandoned ruin. The sound of a phone ringing.
It's really creepy though. The first thing that, well, like the first major thing that happened with our channel really was like my phone going off here. Like, how has that happened? It's ridiculous.
Listen, no.
Well, let's just go the fuck down and have a look, because If there's people here, there's people here. I don't really give a shit anymore. Do you?
Wow.
I mean, it's either a next door neighbour.
Well, I mean, that was definitely a gate.
There isn't a gate here, though.
I know, but if it was next door's gate, going in and out.
Well, so it doesn't matter then.
Well, unless they've...
So they would have gone back home then.
We only come out to sort of see what we're doing, but yeah, let's just have a look.
1:30 in the morning. And we've been here already for over an hour, and now we're quiet. Suddenly, they decide to just turn up with their phone ringing outside. There's a phone in this house ringing, but there's no one in the house. That was 100% through here.
That is.
Following the noise, they track it down to a concealed cupboard, where they discover a modern iPhone lying on the floor, its screen lit up with missed calls from an unknown number. Beside the phone...
Guess what's on the other side of this door? There is actually a phone. There is a phone. There is a fucking iPhone.
Seriously?
Just sat there on the floor.
What the fuck?
Do you know what I think has happened? Exactly what's just happened to me. Trying to climb through there and their phone's fallen out of their pocket. They're trying to climb back out and their phone's fell out and not realised.
What?
There's an iPhone just sat on the floor. Just stick your head in. We did manage to retrieve the phone, which had a few missed calls and some private notifications. We actually waited upstairs with the phone for a while to see if anyone would call back, but the phone eventually died. Obviously, none of this is paranormal, but it's still a very strange coincidence that we once again hear a phone going off in this house.
If there is a spirit with us, we want to make contact with you. Can you tell us where you are? Can you close a door or throw something?
That sounded like a little noise upstairs there.
Yeah.
Like, didn't sound like rain there.
Are you upstairs? Sounded like something again.
What?
It sounded like potentially upstairs, but it could be water.
A pencil rests next to two names, Sophia and Samantha, scratched into a thick layer of grime. Elliot leans into the darkness and quietly calls out the name Samantha.
Hang on, do not touch that a second.
If you look at the footage from the walk around, you can see the pencil has not moved. But we then noticed that there were two names written on the shelf with the same pencil.
There's something there as well. There's loads of names.
Oh yeah?
And they're old as well, actually.
That is Sam. Simon?
What, with an A?
Is that just salmon?
Just their shopping list.
Yeah.
There's a name at the back, Sophia as well.
Sophia.
Can you show that? Because I want to show that that's actually...
Should I put it in colour?
Got dirt. Yeah. That says Sophia, if you can even see that.
Yeah. So Sophia...
Twice. And Samantha, I think.
Samantha, yeah.
Sophia and Samantha.
Okay.
I wonder how old that is, though. Is that explorers, or is that someone who lived here?
Well, is there a Samantha here?
What?
Is there a Samantha here?
What?
Is there a Samantha here?
What?
Is there a Samantha here?
What? No, come on. Come on.
That's amazing.
A harsh, metallic crash reverberates through the space, and almost immediately Elliot recoils in pain, grabbing at his back as a sudden, sharp sensation tears through him.
Here, it sounds like a window latch or something. I don't even know what.
What's that? Again?
Hmm?
I heard metal again.
Hey, what name is it? Sophia or Samantha?
Well, I said Samantha and then bang.
So, okay. So maybe it is a child.
Oh, no, I'm not doing that.
What?
I am not. I do not want my back in that room on my own.
So are we talking, is there a child here called Samantha? Did you die here? Is this your bedroom? I don't want to just bombard you with questions, but we're very, very interested to know.
Something solid gets hurled around the corner at the very moment the camera batteries start dying, and it becomes clear to them both. Whatever is sharing this space with them is far more than just a ghost. The second clip tonight comes from a channel called The Explorer Returns, operating out of the UK, and their whole thing is visiting dangerous, remote, and criminally active spots after dark. These aren't ghost hunters, they go after real, tangible danger, using dashboard cameras and handheld equipment to document suspicious activity, shadowy figures, and hostile encounters on the ground. He got out alive, and he brought the footage with him. It's April 11th, 2026, Underhill Lane, United Kingdom.
Oh God, look at this. Potholes. Ooh. See a big old sign up ahead of us. So it goes off to the right there. What are the chances people are going to be hanging around down here, do you reckon?
Yeah, imagine that.
Just looking in the bushes and there's people stood there. So there's a siding there. Is that a gate into the fields? Yeah. Where's the fork? Because it forks off, doesn't it?
It's quite a bit further down.
Is it a bit further down?
Yeah, it still goes on.
See, even right now, I'm feeling
tense.
A form of tension, yeah, because we just don't know who is hanging around down here. People do as well, like more or less all the time. We've both seen it.
And the issue is, if
3 miles of tight, rutted road, no mobile reception, no residences, no way out. If something comes at you head on, there's simply no room to maneuver. They talk through this openly as they pushed further in, including a recent violent robbery and mugging that took place on this very stretch of road. They pressed on regardless.
It's a car fire, isn't it?
Yep, that is.
Oh shit.
Door's wide open.
What the hell? Oh yeah, the door is open. Oh my God, and it's people have been fly tipping as well. Oh, we've got to pull over.
That is bad.
We're going to have to get out and look at this. Oh, the problem is if there's people fly tipping here, car fire, fly tipping, there's going to be some dodgy people about, isn't it?
Is it worth turning around so your headlights are on it?
Are we not going to get out?
Yeah.
There's a car coming.
While they're checking out the wreckage, a white beam of torchlight cuts through the pitch black field right next to them, moving in sync with their position through the tree line, locked onto them. Then a heavy diesel pickup rolls by, decelerating as it passes, eyeing them up in the darkness before disappearing further up the lane.
Are we? Look, yeah. I'm pretty sure that's a floodlight on like a shed. I don't like the fact that that car just slowed down and now the engine's turned off. Big diesel truck and it just goes.
Pushing up the unlit hill, the driver glances into his mirror. The pickup is right on his bumper. no lights on, riding his tail at speed along a road barely wide enough for a single vehicle. Then the full beams blast on, flooding the mirror. The driver puts his foot down. This has stopped being an exploration. This is a getaway.
What was that?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah. What was that?
Don't know.
I heard it sounded like someone dropping a pole or something.
Yeah. That was a metal pole. Gone behind.
I don't know if this is the best way. Well, there's no going back now.
There's no going back. There's no going back. Someone.
Yeah.
Did you
I
hear
heard
that?
I don't know if the camera would have got
I don't know.
They take shelter in a hilltop car park, catch their breath, and then, because they have no other option, they head back down the same road. Crawling past the darkened fort, a sharp, heavy metallic clang erupts right outside the car window, like a steel pole striking the tarmac. Someone is standing in those bushes, armed and waiting. They've been there the entire time. A second vehicle pulls out of a lay-by and falls in behind them on the way out. They don't stop until they hit the main road. A torched luxury car, a tracking torch sweeping through a field, a diesel truck that killed its lights in the dark, a blacked-out vehicle tailgating at speed, and a metal pole dropped inches from the window on the way home. No ghosts, no paranormal. Just deliberate, coordinated human threat on a road that eats your signal and offers zero escape routes. Honestly, I don't think I would have made it past the burnt-out Mercedes. Not a chance in the world. A forest with a body count doesn't give you any warning. The trees look identical to every other tree. The trails feel no different from any other trail. But when those trails have been walked by a serial killer who buried his victims face down, with their wrists bound behind their backs, the quiet starts to feel like something else entirely. So what actually happened? Shadow Hollow is one of those enigmatic channels that seems to materialize out of thin air, with almost no details about whoever is running it. But sometimes it's the quiet, under-the-radar channels that end up documenting the most deeply unsettling things. The footage opens innocuously enough, your typical outdoor adventure content, nothing out of the ordinary. But as anyone who's spent enough time watching videos like this knows, the forest has a remarkable talent for derailing simple outings in the worst possible ways. I already know what's going through your head. It's the woods. Strange sounds are par for the course. Animals rustling, something moving through the underbrush, maybe a raccoon in the middle of a personal crisis. But these sounds are something different altogether. Then come the sharp, percussive bangs and the sound of branches snapping. And here's the thing, when you're out there alone and something starts breaking branches nearby, your brain skips straight past rational explanations and lands on either a legendary cryptid or someone with genuinely hostile intentions.
Alright guys, I think we'll go on the other path. Let's try this path right here. I usually don't go down this path, but I am now. The fuck? Just gonna ignore that. There's the next path. Here it is. Cross over this. The fuck? I saw something. I think I'm just scared, guys. The fuck? What's that? Okay. Strange. Definitely hearing things. Just gonna go this way. Oh, fuck that. Alright, guys, we gotta go. Yeah, no. Oh, what the fuck that is. But I ain't trying to find out. Okay. I think I'm gonna be leaving here. Where's the passage out? Where's the way? It was, I think, that way? Or that way? It was one of the two.
At this point, his instincts finally take over, and he comes to the very reasonable conclusion that sticking around to identify the source is not a smart move. So now he's trying to locate a way out. The problem is, when panic sets in inside an unfamiliar forest, every single direction looks identical. The darkness is working against him, and whatever's making those noises seems to be keeping pace. At one point, he picks up the sound of footsteps, something moving fast through the brush, and that's the moment he spots it again.
What the fuck? Fuck that. I'm out of here. This is the way out. Fuck! Shit. Oh, fuck!
On first glance, you might write it off as another person out on a late hike, right? But there's something about it that feels deeply, fundamentally off. He's picking up speed now, desperately trying to locate the trail. The camera is bouncing everywhere, you can hear his breathing growing ragged, and then he finally reaches what appears to be the main path. You'd expect that to bring some relief, but this is actually where the footage becomes genuinely disturbing.
Maybe I'm just hearing things. No, it's definitely something. I'd go around this fucking corner. I just hope the fence go back again. Please tell me nothing's behind this corner. Thank God. I think Shit. Shit. Fuck this. Yeah.
First comes whistling, and when he swings toward the sound, that same figure is standing just a few feet away. Then, and this is the detail that has everyone doing a double take, it hunches forward and launches at him on all fours, moving in a way that a human body simply should not be capable of. Now, before anyone spirals too far, he did get out safely. The video was posted after all, which tells us he lived to talk about it. Plenty of you are probably already calling it staged, and honestly, with only 2 uploads on the entire channel, that's a fair argument. But if this is genuine, the real question is, what exactly was out there in those woods with him? Drop your theories in the comments. This story centers on the creator behind the YouTube channel, Straight Explorer, someone who built his content around overnight stays and investigations in remote, isolated locations tied to unexplained activity. On April 30th, 2026, he made a return trip to a section of Kanak Chase, drawn back after a prior visit had already left him deeply unsettled. That earlier outing had produced strange activity and disturbing EVP responses, pulling him back toward a secluded spot near the water. What followed, though, was an overnight investigation that quickly stopped feeling like one, as a creeping sense of dread, distant voices, and escalating strangeness steadily eroded any feeling of being in control.
I don't know what's going on with me. I really don't. I've moved. Don't know if you can tell, the water is just there. We was all the way over there, all them flies was. I had to get away from it. I feel like they're building up again, but what I've decided is I'm just going to go here. There's something not right, and I'm not just saying it. Something feels so off. And I feel like I keep repeating myself. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get on with it. I'm going to make a little bit of a clearing here so we can have the fire. And cook some food. Make a coffee, and then hopefully we'll start feeling a bit better. I don't know what is going on. For about 5 minutes now. Let me just fix this. I'll start again in a minute. It went quiet before. It sounds like people arguing. And it's been going on for about 5 minutes, so...
Within minutes of arriving, the environment already felt off. Where other locations had carried the familiar background noise of wildlife and distant movement, this stretch of forest was unnervingly quiet. As he pushed further toward the campsite, paranoia and discomfort began taking hold almost right away. Shadows shifting through the trees, sounds with no clear origin, and the persistent feeling of being observed all fed into a growing certainty that something was wrong. And that certainty arrived well before anything concrete had actually shown itself.
They're still there. Shame that car's going past. Oh my God, man, look at the state of that. Are they on my head? I can't see on the little screen. Someone is going mental over there. Someone is going absolutely mental. And they've been there for ages. See, what I don't want to do is creep over there to see if they're camping, because if they see me creeping, that's a little bit weird, isn't it? If I saw someone creeping up here, that wouldn't be normal. So, like, they've been there for a good 10 minutes now. If it was people walking, just having a row walking, would they still be there? Like, there's nothing but just trees over there. See, they've stopped now. I can guarantee in about...
As he worked on setting up camp, the strangeness became harder and harder to brush aside. Voices started filtering in from somewhere deeper in the woods, carrying the tone of a heated argument unfolding just out of sight. Initially, it seemed reasonable to assume other people had wandered into the area, but the longer he listened, the more the sounds defied that explanation. The voice kept alternating between what sounded like a woman and a younger individual, yet one detail stood out above everything else. Through long stretches of what appeared to be a back-and-forth exchange, only a single voice was ever actually audible. He moved cautiously in the direction of the sounds, hoping to find a straightforward answer, but the closer he got, the less the situation added up. And as night closed in around the campsite, things only continued to get stranger.
I'm gonna cook. I'm gonna cook. I think. I can hear something moving over there. Right, I'm gonna cook. I'm just gonna do it. Jesus Christ, now there's gunshots going off. Right, let's just do it. Oh, that sounds close. Oh shit.
The voices and what sounded like gunshots began appearing from completely different directions, as though their source was constantly relocating. Between the disturbances, stretches of total silence would fall without warning, only for the activity to start up again somewhere new. The nagging question of who might be out there and why fed a mounting sense that something in the surrounding darkness was circling him without ever stepping into view. Even routine tasks like cooking and finishing the camp setup had become nearly impossible, with his attention constantly being pulled towards sounds and movement bleeding in from the dark.
Oh shit. I'm absolutely freaking out, guys. I've just packed up in the pitch black. And I tell you what I've just been hearing. Wait, let me get a move on. I need to get the hell out of here quickly. I'll tell you in a minute if I make it out of here. I don't know what the hell it was. It was right there somewhere. need to get to the path. She's still up there going mental.
Eventually, the atmosphere around the campsite became too much to stay in, and he packed up and began making his way back through the forest as fast as he could manage. The walkout, however, brought its own wave of unease. Almost the moment he started moving, an odd sound erupted nearby, followed by movement somewhere among the trees, just a short distance from where he was standing. After a night of voices and unexplained disturbances circling him from every direction, he finally made it back to his car and got the engine running. But even then, sitting behind the wheel, the unsettled feeling that had trailed him through the woods refused to fully let go.
Lock them doors. It's an absolute lunatic out here. I honestly feel like it's some sort of crazy person. I really do. I need to drive down the road a little bit, get away from here. That is the oddest. Is it odd? The oddest thing I've ever had happen? I don't think it's the oddest, but what's just happened there tonight is not normal. That can't have been two people arguing. Is anyone in here? You gotta watch out around here. There's a lot of weird people. Like a lot of weird.
The night closed with him driving away from the area, leaving behind the distant voices, the unexplained movement, and the repeated disturbances that had gradually turned the investigation into something far more uncomfortable than he had anticipated. What started as a straightforward return to a location that had rattled him once before slowly became something else entirely. The original purpose of the trip was uncomplicated enough, but as the hours passed, the whole night collapsed into a single question he never expected to still be asking by the time he left. Who was actually out there with him? Hearing voices somewhere in a forest doesn't set off alarm bells on its own. People hike, camp, and pass through remote areas regularly. Even shouting at a distance has a perfectly reasonable explanation under most circumstances. But this situation unraveled because the ordinary details kept refusing to behave ordinarily. The shouting went on for long stretches, moved between different parts of the forest, cut out entirely, then started again somewhere else. And through all of it, he kept noticing the same thing. There was never a second voice clearly responding. If the explanation really was just one person out there alone, that possibility opens up a very different kind of concern. Someone wandering deep in an isolated forest for hours, shouting into the dark, and moving erratically through the woodland at night is already a troubling image on its own. But the situation grew considerably more alarming when sounds resembling gunshots began echoing from multiple directions around the area. If those sounds were tied to someone in the vicinity, then this may have crossed a line from strange encounter into something with a real potential for danger. Because in places that remote, where there are no witnesses, no surveillance, and very little chance of immediate help, people have gone missing, serious crimes have taken place, and situations have turned without any warning at all. But perhaps the most unsettling element isn't what unfolded inside that forest. It's what never happened. Despite hours of activity surrounding him, despite moving toward the source of the sounds more than once, despite spending the entire night convinced someone else was nearby, he never actually laid eyes on anyone. And that absence becomes more disturbing than a direct sighting would have been, because seeing a person, however alarming, at least gives you something concrete. A face removes the uncertainty, but a voice drifting through the dark, with no body attached to it, leaves something behind that lingers far longer than any image would. He walked out of that forest, carrying the exact same question he had carried in, except this time it felt considerably heavier. If someone had genuinely been out there the entire night, why did he never once? On December 4th, 2024, the YouTube channel Exploring with Bear posted a video in which he headed back to the same bitter, remote wetlands he'd visited before, a place that had already gotten under his skin the first time around.
Brought us back. Where just a couple weeks ago we tried a live truck camping adventure here. I think we was like a couple hours in when people showed up. They had flashlights. They was walking all around the truck and everything. There was at least 2 of them. And they reappeared for a second time as well. But they never did touch the truck. They never tried to open the doors or anything, but they was awfully close to the truck. And it seemed like they...
The quiet blanketing the area felt different on this visit, thicker and more oppressive, as though the forest itself was holding its breath in anticipation.
Checking out the truck. So we are going to try it again, though. We are back at the same spot. But here's the thing. It is 23 degrees tonight. Now, this is the coldest that I've camped out this year so far. That is cold, but I got to tell you, it feels even colder. I'm scared already. But I mean, it's like 24 degrees. I'm probably the only one. Yeah, probably nobody going to be out here tonight. Anyway, fam, of course, you know we are in Bigfoot territory. We are in the wetlands again. And not only that, but we have a haunted cemetery. So we're going to take that walk real quick. We're going to go back there. Last time we walked back there was like 3 or 4 deer in the cemetery, which is pretty cool. But it's a historic haunted cemetery.
With every step he took, deeper along the shadowy trails toward the old cemetery, that gnawing unease continued to build, feeding a persistent feeling that unseen eyes were already fixed on him.
Whoop! Forget, I think the cemetery's actually in here a bit good ways too. Oh. Whew, I got a terrible feeling. Terrible. Whoop.
Then, with no warning at all, the jarring crack of rocks being struck together rang out from somewhere uncomfortably close behind him, shattering the stillness and stopping him dead in his tracks.
Holy smokes, that was rocks. That sounded like a rock clank. Really close. Oh my goodness. Whew. Oh my goodness. Whoop! Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, oh. Crap. That's behind us. We just came from there. No, that was way too close.
Even after putting ground between himself and that spot, the dread wouldn't let up. Whatever had made that sound seemed to be lingering just out of view, trailing him at a distance. Not long after,
I don't hear anything else. Oh my goodness. Man, that is close. That's close to the truck, too. What could that have been? I'm gonna have to go back on the camera. I'm like in freaking shock, sorta. I don't know what that was. That sounded like a rock hitting a rock clank is what that sounded like. Sorry if you hear my breathing. I got the camera like right in front of my face so I can talk. I didn't want to talk loud.
something caught his eye further down the darkened path. A quick, indistinct movement that was gone almost as fast as it appeared, yet it was more than enough to leave him rattled.
Oh, what was that? I just seen something really weird.
Things took a genuinely frightening turn when he unmistakably heard what seemed to be a low human voice somewhere among the trees. Despite the area supposedly being deserted, then, almost in the same breath, a stationary light appeared hovering between the trunks ahead.
Man, my nose is running. Oh, there's a light.
And just like that, it was gone, blinking out completely. That disappearance gave the whole encounter a calculated feeling, as if someone was deliberately keeping themselves concealed. As he pressed on,
it's not coming up on camera. It's way out there. I don't see it moving. It's just staying still. Oh, it just disappeared. It could have went behind a tree.
a series of strange sounds continued to trail him, noises that bore no resemblance to typical woodland wildlife or anything you'd reasonably expect to hear out there after dark. Every direction began to feel compromised, and even ordinary shapes in the shadows started taking on a menacing quality.
Oh, did you guys hear that? Barking spider. That surely wasn't me. What is that? It's like glowing. Maybe it's a stake or something.
Then, close to the cemetery, something caught his attention once more. A shape or silhouette shifting in a way that felt deeply wrong, enough to root him to the spot for a moment.
I hear something moving. Okay. Whew, man, it is pretty... Oh, this might be it. I think we found it. Now, last time there was like 3 or 4 deer. Let's see if we can see any deer. What is that?
That fleeting glimpse seemed to strip away any remaining doubt, because at that stage it no longer felt like his nerves playing tricks on him. Something real appeared to be occupying those woods.
It just moved. What is that? It just moved. Holy smokes. What do you guys think I encountered just now? Was that like a cult thing?
Alongside him. By the time he finally made his way out, hurt and visibly shaken, there was still a creeping sense that whatever he'd come across hadn't entirely stayed behind, and may have shadowed him for some stretch of the journey out.
It has me shook, and it has been days later. I even acquired a couple injuries on that run. I had slipped and fell on some ice or something, busted my knee, busted my knuckles. I felt like it was at least following me about halfway through the woods. This is not your...
Even in the days that followed, the memory of that night remained sharp, because it had stopped feeling like an ordinary urban exploration outing. It felt as though something out there had been tracking his every move the whole time, responding to his presence while carefully refusing to show itself.